Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning. I'm David J. Victoria has the day off. We had that story where the advice was maybe you could have your Thanksgiving outside. Some may be comfortable with that.
That's true. We've actually got to have fairly average temperatures for this time of the year and fairly dry weather, David, as we start getting into the next few days. Let's start off with the first interstate ICAM. Yesterday, 51 was a mild afternoon, but it did turn windy. That was the bigger story. We started off with some sprinkles and showers, left us 1/100 of an inch first thing, but those wind gusts in the afternoon made it all the way up to 43 miles per hour. That'll send the tablecloth sailing. Temperatures this morning are into the single digits and teens along the high line, 20s and 30s elsewhere. And while we do have some snow showers over into western Montana and a little bit of activity in the mountains around southern Montana and northern Wyoming, things do look quieter once we start getting into the afternoon. 20s, low 30s here first thing in the morning. The temperatures on a rise today to the mid 40s, which is right around the 30-year average for daytime highs this time of the year. And today we're observing the 73rd wedding anniversary of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. So congratulations to them. Oh, there's a picture of them, a recent photo. So yeah, I mean, they spent their life together. I think I looked it up just before we went on the air. He is now 99 and she is 94 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy, just an amazing story there.
It really is.
All right. Thank you, Ed.
Thanks, David.
Our top story this morning: more restrictions on local residents and businesses. The Yellowstone County Health Officer mirrors the governor, but also takes things a few steps further. Starting today, the 25-person limit on gatherings is extended through the end of the year. In Yellowstone County, this applies to indoor and outdoor events, even if you can socially distance. All businesses where people gather must move to 50% capacity, and they'll be having to close by 10 p.m. Bars can only serve customers who are physically seated. And one major change from the governor's order here in Yellowstone County: adult and youth organized athletic teams or music groups cannot hold games or performances. Practices are still allowed, and this excludes music or sports affiliated with schools. Health Officer John Felton says the previous safeguards weren't enough to slow the spread.
Let's think about what that means. All the people around you who are coughing or having symptoms, between 1 out of 4 and 1 out of 3 of them probably have COVID-19 right now. That's what we've got to come to grips with, folks. This is not something that is just sort of an occasional person out there. This is very widespread.
To further put the order in perspective, there are more than 150 people hospitalized in Yellowstone County with the virus. More than 30 of those are in the ICU, and close to 25 are on ventilators. Yesterday, it was announced 2 more residents passed away here. To learn more about this order, go to this story at ktvq.com. Yesterday, the CDC released guidance saying Americans should cancel their Thanksgiving plans and not travel at all for the holiday. The U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary says an application for emergency use of Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine is expected today. And the total number of cases since the pandemic hit across the nation is approaching 12 million after hitting 11 million just this past Sunday. Turning to political news, Wyoming Senator John Barrasso is set to take on a new role in the Senate. He's likely to become the new chairman of the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee. It depends on if the Republicans can win at least one of 2 outstanding Senate races in Georgia. Wyoming has had a representation on that Senate Energy Committee since 1899. Meanwhile, President Trump is meeting with 2 members of the Michigan State Legislature today as he continues to challenge Joe Biden in the 2020 election. CBS's Deborah Alfarone has details on the president's latest claims.
Did you all watch My Cousin Vinny?
During an animated press conference at Republican National Committee headquarters yesterday,
I know crimes. I can smell them.
the Trump campaign again failed to present evidence of widespread voter fraud and cast further unsubstantiated allegations.
Massive influence of communist money.
More than 2 weeks after Election Day, the campaign is running out of paths to challenge the results.
President Trump won by a landslide.
Today, Georgia is expected to certify President-elect Biden's victory. All 5 million ballots were counted by hand during a 6-day audit.
The point of the audit is to show the machines counted the ballots fairly.
Also happening today, President Trump is meeting with 2 Michigan legislators at the White House. Democrats say he wants them to intervene, though there's little evidence they have any power to do so.
Joe Biden won Michigan by over 150,000 votes, 14 times the margin that Donald Trump won by in 2016.
The Trump appointee at the General Services Administration has yet to approve the transition process. It's left President-elect Biden looking for other ways to prepare for the White House.
Being one of the most irresponsible presidents in American history.
Mr. Biden condemned the president's actions while speaking to reporters yesterday.
I'm confident he knows he hasn't won and is not going to be able to win, and we're going to be sworn in on January 20th.
The president-elect also spoke with a bipartisan group of governors yesterday on the coronavirus pandemic. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Also making headlines this morning, the Census Bureau has come across some irregularities that it says could delay its count of the country's population. It's something the census director says has also happened with past surveys. That means come January, a Trump administration decision to leave out undocumented immigrants from the tally could be overridden. Soon, the Supreme Court will hear arguments over whether that decision was legal. A Billings investment group may soon be able to offer sports wagering. In October, the Arete Group won a lawsuit against the Montana Lottery, saying it could not require a business to have a liquor license in order to offer sports wagering. The Montana Lottery now says it will not appeal that decision, but the lottery did announce you must have a legitimate business and sports wagering cannot be the only service that you provide. Soldiers and airmen in the Montana National Guard are part-time. Some are police officers, teachers, and business owners. These men and women have been called upon a lot in 2020, and for some, the stress is piling up. MTN's Phoenix O'Connor shows us how the Guard is stepping up to help.
If you have traveled by air this year, most likely you've had your temperature taken by the Montana National Guard. But that wasn't the only additional task our Montana soldiers undertook.
This last year has been very busy for the Montana National Guard, not only supporting overseas deployments, but also supporting the state and the communities across Montana with the COVID response.
As well as assisting the Montana State Prison after correctional officers were short-staffed due to a COVID outbreak in the prison.
So that higher operational tempo, it definitely can take some additional stress on our soldiers and our families.
To keep soldiers engaged, the Army has created an app that soldiers can download on their phones so they can have access to resources. From financial help to hotlines to call if soldiers are in need to talk if they are having thoughts about killing themselves. But it's not just soldiers that are under pressure. Military children and spouses are feeling it too. And there are options for them to get help as well. The Montana National Guard Family.org is a good start to find resources. There are also resources for friends and family who think a soldier may be struggling with thoughts of suicide.
Hotline numbers where they can call and say, hey, I'm feeling like this person might hurt themselves, where they can do that 1-800 phone call or, do a non-emergency contact with the police department or something, just to do a health and welfare check if they think that's something that's going on.
You can also call the National Guard's Family Service or ask to speak with the chaplain to make an anonymous report. In Helena, Phoenix O'Connor, MTN News.
Here in Billings, when a family from Minnesota will see its dog for the first time in 2 months. The family was visiting the area and on a hike when Leo ran away. The pup was on his own in the wilderness until for some time before he was spotted in someone's yard not long ago. With the help of a local animal shelter, Leo is about to see his owners once again.
It took a couple hours to get his trust and to get him to go into a live trap, but he succumbed to an Egg McMuffin and was in the trap after about a half hour of leaving him alone, and then I transported him to YVAS. And they were able to find the microchip, find the owners in Minnesota, and set this whole system back to normal. But once the dog is caught in a trap, most of the time, they surrender. Even though they've been cautious, they surrender and look at you like, what took you so long? I've been trying to get back to people, but I just didn't know how.
And we'll bring you today's reunion tonight at 5:30 on Q2. Stick with us here on Montana This Morning. Still ahead, it's almost time to sit down for that Thanksgiving meal. We'll bring you some cooking tips after the break. It is now 6:04 and 33 degrees outside.